basics. The basics are those things which are so simple, they're often overlooked and dismissed, and yet they're so difficult in times like that in which we live that they are willingly neglected. The basics are to recognize that children matter, that marriage matters, and that we cannot simply look the other way, but each of us has a responsibility. Now, there are all kinds of verses where we can review the basics of family life and raising children. But in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4, I just thought I'd give you an example of what we would call the basics. After Paul talks about children obeying their parents in the Lord, for this is right, and it's the first commandment with promise, he then goes to the fourth verse of Ephesians 6, and he says, you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath. Don't make your kids angry, but instead bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. I wonder if you'd read that underlined part with me. The training and admonition of the Lord. Another translation says, in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Now, since I came to First Baptist Atlanta in 2012, I haven't spoken about family life and marriage life near as much as I did in the church where I served for 15 years before I came here. And back then, I went there when I was 27 years old. It was scary to think of now. And I just didn't know any better as a single man just to tackle any topic I felt led to tackle if it was addressed in the Word of God, to preach it like I was the expert. And I did that. And the people listened to it, not because it was some ignoramus spouting off in the pulpit, but because I was preaching the Word of the living God. So I came up here as the number 2 guy, and I preached a few messages on family, and I got some constructive feedback. What do you know about it? Why are you up there talking about it? You're not married. You don't have kids. You need to stick to things that you know about. And unfortunately, I'm going to admit to you, in the role that I was in, I allowed some of that feedback to intimidate me and to cause me to step back and be a little bit insecure.